I'm Tori Devaney, and my presentation is on the never-ending crisis of the Native American people. American Indian and Alaska Native tribes have a long and complex history with the U.S. government that has resulted in a unique relationship built on treaties, benefits, and trust. As a result of these trusts, the U.S. is responsible for providing American Indians with housing, education, and healthcare needs. However, as you might imagine, life on the reservation is unacceptable. Two of the five poorest counties in America are located on Indian reservations. Many communities are impoverished. Employment opportunities are often limited to low-paying, low-quality jobs. Poor health care, housing, and education are only exacerbated by the fact that reservations are isolated to remote areas away from population centers and vital resources. Essentially, living on a reservation is like living in a third world country. According to the 2010 U.S. Census, approximately 5.2 million people, or 2% of the total population, classify themselves as American Indian or Alaska Native, 22% of which live on reservations. There are approximately 326 Indian lands across America, with the largest reservations located in the most remote areas of Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. Other large reservation sites include South Dakota, Nebraska, and Montana. As stated, the U.S. government has a trust responsibility to provide health care to the members of the 573 federally recognized tribes. Since 1955, this has been filled by Indian Health Services. IHS is responsible for providing comprehensive health services to approximately 2 billion American Indians. However, IHS is chronically underfunded, understaffed, and underequipped, and by all accounts has failed to live up to this responsibility. It is easy to assume that health is determined by the quality or quantity of medical care a person receives, but it's not that simple. The health of a population is determined by many things, including housing conditions, access to clean water, good sanitation, income, culture, and geographic location. Housing on the reservation. Living conditions affect health. 40% of on-reservation housing is considered substandard, compared to 6% outside the reservation. Nearly one-third of homes on reservations are overcrowded. Less than half the homes on reservations are connected to public sewer systems. It is estimated that 1 in every 10 American Indian homes are without safe or reliable drinking water. Even worse, 16% of homes lack indoor plumbing. The national average is less than 1%. Poverty affects health. It's not surprising that higher income is linked to better health. 26% of American Indians live in poverty, compared to 11% of non-Hispanics. Average salary for American Indians is nearly $20,000 less than non-Hispanics. Native Americans have the highest unemployment rate of any racial group. Education can improve health. High school graduation rates are among the lowest of any population. Nationally, only 82% of American Indians have at least a high school diploma, compared to 92% of non-Hispanics. In the states with the highest American Indian population, less than 50% of students graduate. Some of the leading causes of disease and death among American Indians. American Indians are 2 times more likely to develop diabetes and 90% more likely to die from complications. Possibly due to overcrowded conditions, American Indians are 40% more likely to die from tuberculosis. American Indians have an infant death rate that is 60% higher than non-Hispanics. They are 45% more likely to become obese and have a 15% higher rate of developing heart disease. Mental health issues. American Indians are 50% more likely to suffer serious psychological distress. Violent deaths, including accidental injury, homicide, and suicide, account for 75% of all mortality in the second decade of life. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for American Indians between the ages of 10 and 34, and the leading cause of death for girls between the ages of 10 and 14. It is clear from the statistics that mental health issues are prevalent in the American Indian culture, which is why it might not be shocking to learn that they are 60% more likely to suffer from depression. Depression is a serious medical condition that affects a person's general outlook on life. It causes feelings of sadness and unhappiness. People suffering from depression lose interest in things they once liked, sleep more often, have difficulty focusing, and become easily irritated. Most people have short periods of time in their life where they feel sad. It is important to realize this is different than clinical depression. Depression is a complex medical condition that does not have a specific cause, but in and of itself can be the cause of many other medical conditions. Several possible causes of depression include genetics, chemical imbalance, stress, trauma, loss, financial trouble, and many more. Untreated depression can lead to employment problems, relationship issues, drug and alcohol use, and suicidal thoughts and attempts. Traumatic events, losses, and violence are all common for the American Indians. Most American Indians live in chronic poverty with limited access to health care. Compounded by the fact that Indian Health Services has failed them, it is not difficult to see why this community is so afflicted with depression. Future trends in healthcare. Mental health has been identified as the number one health problem confronting American Indian and Alaska Native communities today. Along with social problems, it is estimated to contribute to more than one-third of demands for services. Yet, despite this need, very little money is allocated for mental health and substance abuse services. Unless something drastically changes, the health of this community will continue to decline. Improving health. IHS underfunding must be resolved to ensure improved American Indian health. American Indians also need better access to health services. Many people travel long distances to see providers. They also lack regular access to telephone and internet, which further isolates them. If the infrastructure could be built, an alternative method like telecommunication would have a huge impact on this community. In conclusion, the Native American population faces many of the same challenges their ancestors did. The difference between then and now is that poverty and isolation has broken the spirit of a proud people and bred hopelessness. In turn, that hopelessness has spawned a staggering amount of mental health issues that culminates in the form of depression, alcoholism, and suicide. We like to tell ourselves that everyone's future is bright, but unless a miracle happens, theirs is not.